Made in the Trade. I am your host, Gail Davis. This is going to be fun because I have two people who not only do I follow, love, and adore, but I have worked with them to make my website better and to make my videos absolutely amazing. So I'm going to first introduce you to Anastasia Casey, who is a website woman extraordinaire. Here's some of her work that she does. She's really amazing. She also does branding. She can teach you how to do Pinterest, because God knows I don't know how to. She can teach you everything you need to know about website development and what you need. Because too often designers, we create websites for each other, right? But we don't create it for our clients and for people to find us and want to pick up the phone and call us. And that's super important. As soon as she did my website, I think it was 724% increase of foot traffic. That's really amazing. And people are daily signing up for my newsletter and my blog. I'm telling you, she's amazing. You have to check her out. We'll make sure we put all the information in the show notes, so this way you know. And then my next guest here, I just adore her too. Ariane Bellazar. She is Louisiana-based interior designer, but God knows she's all over the country. She can teach you how to do, look at this, videos for your website, videos to pull your clients in. It's really amazing. If you go to her website, you'll see the videos that she does, and her website is amazing too, because as soon as you go to it, it's a call to action immediately. So without further ado, I just want to introduce you to both of these women, and this is Ariane's beautiful home, which she renovated from the rooter to the tutor. Everything brand new. And she'll tell you about that and how she worked with people to get that done. And if you're a designer, this is super important. Especially if you're a solopreneur or if you're running a business, you need to know these two women. They will change your life like nobody's business. So I'm going to start with Anastasia. Go ahead, my friend. How are you today?
Hi, Gail. I'm so well. Hi, everybody else. Thank you so much for having me. Literally, I have my mom and my grandma on here. Everyone is tuned in.
Yay. And say hello, Ariane. I want people to see you too.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here with Gail and Anastasia. It's truly an honor.
Okay, so let's get this started because I have so many questions to ask, and I'm going to take off my glasses for this. Interior design and messaging. How powerful is the correct messaging, and how damaging is the incorrect messaging? Let's start with Anastasia.
That's such a good question. I think that oftentimes designers rely so much on the visual aspect of their business that they forget about the messaging side of things. They forget about the power of great copy. And sometimes they can forget that people like to consume content in different ways. And when someone is getting ready to make one of the biggest investments of their life, you need to make sure that you are providing them with options to obtain that content and to get that message across, especially when you're dealing with a household that has two decision makers. One might be more visual, one might be more verbally focused, one might prefer video, and you want to make sure that you are positioning yourself and your brand to be all-encompassing to make sure you can appeal to all three different content preferences. So I think that it is imperative not only to make sure that your messaging is right and tight, but you're also delivering it in multiple avenues so that you can connect with those dream clients of yours and ensure that you're doing it in a way that makes them feel comfortable.
Okay. Ariane, what would you have to say to that?
I agree with everything she said. I also think it's important for you to have a kind of a macro and a micro thought process to how you communicate. For me, when I think about the copy on my website, I know that on a macro level, I want to build value in our industry as a whole, not just me as the service provider. I know that it's important that people understand the value of a design professional, someone with experience, someone who is legitimate, someone who has a team, someone who has the work. And if I can add value to the industry as a whole, we all win. So in a macro level, when I'm thinking about the way that I write content, I'm thinking about how to build value as a whole in our industry. On a micro level, I'm always trying to do two things. I'm trying to repel and attract. I'm trying to attract people who are my people, and I'm trying to make it okay for the people who aren't my people to go,
Right.
while still building value in the industry as a whole. So when you think about the language that you use on your website, whether it's the copy or the images or the videos, you always want to think about who you're speaking to and really know them, so that you're attracting those people and making them say, gosh, it's like she's talking to me. Or, you know, I get all the time, my husband and I read your website and it was like you're reading our mail. Like, I'm attracting the people who see themselves reflected in my website, but I'm also repelling people who go to my website and say, that looks nice, it's pretty, love the video, but you're not the one for me. But you taught me that I do need someone, I just got to find the right person for me, my person. And so those are the two things I think everyone should think about as far as how they treat their website and the copy on it.
True, true. Well, the second question kind of goes with the first one, is what do interior designers get wrong on their website? And explain why niching can boost business for you. I'll start with you, Ariane.
I think it goes to what Anastasia said. Is it Anastasia, or am I making it too complicated?
I love it the way you say it. I feel like I sound way cooler when you're calling me
I have
Anastasia.
one of those names, so I'm always like, how do you say it? One of the first things she said was to make sure that you understand that it's not just pretty images. Who are you talking to? And, you know, we know that if there's a 2-person household with decision makers and it's a, you know, husband and wife or a partner and partner, you've got that one person who wants to know the practical, logical, give me the meat. Mm-hmm. And then you got the other person who's all emotion. And so yes, what designers make the mistake of is if my love language is emotion, I'm going to have a website that's emotion. Mm. And if my love language is the data and the facts and the what's or what and the process, then I might create a website to that and lose and forget about the emotion. It's important to understand that there's the dynamic that she explained in her answer. And then again, because we're always, I believe if we're really smart, we are always looking at this thing from an abundance mentality. There is enough for all of us. We just got to find our people. And so that allows us to niche down and to create copy that says, here's who my person is. Here's my dream project. Here's who I work really well with. And then that person sees themselves, and we can continue to do the work that keeps us in our zone of genius instead of feeling like we've got to be everything for everybody. So the niching down lets us be really good at what we do while making money without feeling like I've got to accept every project that comes my way and ignore the red flags, ignore the feelings in my tummy I get, you know, or the fact that this project isn't really inspiring me. It also allows us to pivot and say, I do this all the time, you know, I might not be the one for you, but I know a designer who is. I can point you in the right direction because I know that if I take care of you just by doing that, it's going to come back to me. It's going to come back to me. So that would be my thought about the niching and what designers get wrong on their websites.
Well, Anastasia, you definitely niched in your business and you saw success overnight. So what does niching mean to you, and what do designers get wrong or incorrect on their website that they should do better?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think on paper, it's really easy to say, well, of course, Anastasia niched down. She's a service provider to other businesses. It's easy to decide who you want to work with. But I think that there's immense value in niching down as an interior designer as well. And sometimes it's not as black and white as, okay, well, we do web design for interior designers. But as an interior designer, you can say, I love working with empty nesters who are ready to right size their home, and that's really my sweet spot. I get where they are in life. Or I love working with my downtown condo folks and who are, you know, they go to the gym that's in their own building and they walk across the street to their office and that's their lifestyle. Or people who are busy moms and they are now managing school and multiple businesses out of their home. I think really deciding who it is you want to serve and why you enjoy serving them is so important. And a lot of designers feel like I can do any kind of design, and I love modern, I love mid-century, I love traditional, I can do all of it. I think that if you're focused on growing and scaling your business and having a following is important to you, finding that signature style and letting people know what to expect out of you, and then surprise and delight them with different twists and turns along the way, but giving them something consistent so that they can really connect with that design style is so important. Once designers start to find the interior design style that they love and can experiment within that realm instead of trying to be everything to everyone, that's when I really see designers start to take off. And as far as the things that I see a lot of designers come to us who may have made a misstep, the biggest thing I see is that people will have just a generic contact form, and it'll just be like, you want to work together, reach out. And your contact
Stop talking
form,
about me.
It's okay, it was a learning lesson. Your contact form should be essentially your initial design questionnaire. You should be getting the square footage, the style of home that they want, exactly what rooms they're looking to do. Most importantly, don't have a blank box for them to input their budget. You should have a drop-down menu that gives the lowest price point you're willing to work with in a window, and then the next window goes up from there, up and up and up from there. It's a really nice subconscious way to help someone realize, oh, this is not the designer for me. They don't take on one-room projects, or this is a perfect designer for me. They're willing to work with a $1,500 budget. I think there's a lot of shaping you can do in a very eloquent, sophisticated way on your website that is going to eliminate a lot of wasted time in your week and in potential inquiries weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, nice. So we just had a conversation before this all started, and it was about Pinterest. So I didn't realize it was a search engine. I'm really probably going to get a lot of DMs about this. How can you use Pinterest to drive your business? Because the two of you can speak to this. Anastasia, you go first.
Guys, I'm gonna get like so heated about this because like I am so about Pinterest.
Go for it.
I keep hearing people say like Pinterest is dead, or I hate Pinterest. I'm like, well, I don't like you, so let's reconsider this. Pinterest is not dead. Pinterest is your friend. Pinterest is if Instagram and Google had a baby, and that is your love child that you are going to nurture forever, and it's going to become a billionaire and take care of you for the rest of your life. Pinterest requires such a minimal effort on a designer's behalf. You can automate and pre-schedule out so much content. We knock out a whole 30 days of content usually in 2 hours a month. And after that, it just kind of does its own thing. Additionally, I enjoy Pinterest so much. I find myself on Pinterest fairly regularly, almost every day, just using it as a user in itself. But Pinterest is so important because there are multiple differences from Instagram that make it powerful. For one, it is a search engine. When you get onto Pinterest or you're starting a project or you're thinking about redoing the living room, the first place you go is always going to be Pinterest, and you'll start searching things in there. What's amazing about Pinterest is it doesn't date content the way that Instagram does. And so when Instagram post goes up, maybe you have 36 hours of life to that post before it just disappears in your feed. On Pinterest, you can search a pin and it'll show up from 10 years ago now, because it's just pulling up the most relevant search results. So by spending that 2 hours a month getting all of your portfolio content, pinning from other people's portfolios who have a similar style, creating original content, you will see 10, 20 times the traffic on your website than you ever will from Instagram.
Agreed.
So, okay, so then, I don't know, like, I see a pin, I pin it. I have to investigate this. Ariane, what do you love about Pinterest? And do you use it for clients, or do you use it for you, or?
I use it for all of the above. I agree with everything she's saying. It is a low, like when I think about the effort let's just think about this for a minute. When I want to post on Instagram, it is a 1 hour minimum investment. I got to find the image. I got to tweet the image. I got to be very thoughtful about my caption. I got to think about the hashtags. I got to think about the time of day to post it. And then I got to post it. And then I got to stick around. And I got to interact with you. It is an investment, okay, to be involved in Instagram. No shade to Instagram. Pinterest, I literally do exactly what she says. I have a scheduling program. I'm able to schedule all of my content for 30 days. It figures out the right time for them to go out for me. I don't really worry about hashtags. I just make sure that the description is something someone would search for because I know it's a search engine. And I make sure that I categorize or put into boards where the images should go so that if someone does want to see more of the same, there's a whole board full of curated content, and it's a mixture of my own and content that inspires me. So that's how I use it from a marketing standpoint. For myself, I use it obviously. For clients, it's very easy for me to share inspiration, make sure we're seeing the same thing in our head, to pull together secret boards. There's all kinds of things I love about Pinterest. But I will say I'm not even joking, I probably get on average about 100 new signups to my newsletter a month from one old post, because I can track it. There's one post, and it's probably 3 years old, and I get 100 email subscribers a month.
Wait, I'm going to do this now.
And I'm not doing anything. I did the effort once. And it's there. It's a relevant search term. I knew how to name the blog post. I knew the images to pin. I knew how to organize the pins. I did the work on the front end of kind of recycling them and pulling them back in at certain times. And now it's still 3 years old, a post that brings a lot of traffic to my website. So that is one of the reasons I absolutely agree with everything she says about if you're thinking about your marketing mix, you need, especially in our industry, to have Pinterest as one of the tools that you use to do it.
That is so insane because you have monthly pins, 7 million, correct, Anastasia?
Oh, yeah.
Anastasia.
I have,
and you have 4 million.
I have 3. I have 3 million views.
Views, right.
I don't even know how many followers, it doesn't matter, but I have 3 million views. And then Pinterest has analytics that tells you how many people push through to your website, click through and read. And then, like I said, I can track what posts are resulting in signups for my newsletter. Like it's a powerful tool. It really is.
Okay, so
it's pretty crazy when we look at our Google Analytics for the month. And let's just say in a month, our blog got 100,000 site visits. At least 90,000 of those will be from Pinterest, and it'll be from Pinterest US, Pinterest Canada, Pinterest France, Pinterest England. You'll have to notice in your Google Analytics that there are multiple Pinterest pages because Pinterest is in many countries. So that's just one thing to notice as you're looking at those analytics, but it is literally mind-boggling. And then I sit here and kick myself because I'm like, why did I just spend an hour and a half on Instagram figuring out the perfect hashtag to put on that post when I could have just pinned 20 pins in 10 seconds?
It's true. It's so true.
No, I get it. There's a new thing with Instagram for me, which is super annoying. So if you posted something and people liked it, instead of it like pushing through to the next stuff, like it's still showing me that same post from that one person. And it keeps showing like the numbers going up. And I'm like, okay, like I've seen that. That was yesterday. And it's annoying. And I have to say, Instagram gives me anxiety. I think Pinterest would be a lot more easy. And I was like, going down the rabbit hole when I was setting up my boards on Pinterest by your guidelines. And I was like, this is a lot easier. Like this feels freeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also not hashtagging, like, what do I do to make sure everyone's following, which is so interesting. But I'm glad.
Right. I think that's a big part of it. For me, Pinterest is a pleasant, inspiring experience. And what I think Instagram started out trying to do was giving people a creative outlet and a way to connect. I think that there's just so much stuff that as a culture we have created within Pinterest, not even what they intended, within Instagram, that Pinterest still has held on to, that you can just pin something that inspires you and that you love, and it can just live there and you aren't waiting for any sort of validation. You can just move on. And I think that's a really powerful thing as a creative.
I agree.
I think I'm just changed for forever. Like, I can't wait to get home now and work on Pinterest. Ariane, I'm gonna jump back to you. Let's talk video.
Yay.
Why is it a powerful medium? And when is the next, well, I was about to say video boot camp, but you have a video course that lives, and that we will also, to everybody that's watching, also for Anastasia, we're going to be giving discount codes in the notes, so this way you can go on and sign up. I promise you, you need to sign up with both women. I'm just like, I'm looking at you. Like, you want this for your life, because it just changes your business exponentially, and that is what you want. I cannot say enough. I took Ariane's boot camp, but I'm gonna let her talk about videos and how important it is for you to have video in your life. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, I think, you know, I'm a huge video fan. Video is my native tongue in terms of marketing. I was able to share with Gail my origin story in video on her podcast. So if you have a chance to go listen to that. But I've always had video in my life. Short stories. My father was a wedding videographer when I was a kid. So I watched him create videos, and I watched him learn how to use video to tell stories. It's something that is ingrained in the way that I communicate my value, and the transformations that happen on my design projects, I tell them like a story. And so one of the things that I think designers miss the boat on with video is, just like Instagram can be intimidating and it feels like a lot, video can feel like a lot if you don't really understand the building blocks of a good video. When you do, you realize it's very formulaic, even though every video feels different. So after years of people saying, oh my gosh, your videos are so great, they look like they should be on TV, how do you do it? I finally sat down and like wrote down the recipe. Like, if somebody asked me, how do you bake that cake? It's very intuitive for me. So I had to actually sit down and say, what would be the recipe for this cake? And that is what the course is. I realized that in the creative industry, there's really 5 different kinds of videos that you should have in your mix. So they're not all the same. They all have a different purpose. And so that is what I teach in the course, which is you got to know which of the 5 you want to have in your marketing mix. You got to know how to build it, shoot it, edit it, and promote it. And if you know all of those things, then it becomes very easy to get your head around how to bring video into your marketing plan, and how to outsource it. So you don't have to do the filming and the editing or even the promoting, but you got to know what the story is. You got to be able to tell someone how to communicate the story. And then if you want to outsource it, they can create your vision if they understand what's in your head when you talk about what you want your video to be. My videos are a way, again, for me to build value into the industry. I always want to teach someone about what we really do without beating them over the head. So my videos feel like I'm taking you behind the scenes, but what I'm really doing is I'm saying, look at how much value we bring to you. Like, well, look at what we do for you, how many headaches we take off of your plate. Like, that's what my videos are really at their heart trying to do. They're also a way for people to get to know me. So people always call me and say, oh my gosh, I've been watching your videos. I found you on YouTube because it's a search engine. And now, like, I feel like I know you, and I showed my husband and he's like in love too. And like, so it really does break the ice. People will shop you, explore you, research you for 6 to 9 months sometimes before they call you. And what I found is video has been that bridge between their introduction of me and my website and when they actually do finally call. And they're referring to my videos or my testimonials or my projects. And it's really kind of exciting to see that. So I am a huge proponent of video, however big or small you want it to be in your marketing mix, because I know that for me, it has always been worth the investment of time. It really has. It's always come back to me.
Well, your videos are very captivating. And Anastasia, you just piloted, you just brought out this week, what is it called again for this weekend?
Yeah, studio sessions.
Thank you. I'm like, why am I drawing a blank? Sorry, people.
No, of course.
I have to say, your video presentation was amazing. I was like, her and Ariane must be best friends.
I was so nervous about this. So thank you so much. Video is new to me, and I got my feet wet with it. I'm happy with it, but man, it does not come as naturally to me as it does to Ariane, for sure.
No, it was great. So I'm going to ask if anyone has any questions for either one of the ladies. Annie, do we have any questions? I'm just gonna wait and see.
Can you make some recommendations on how a website and social media outlets can complement your brand and work to enhance your own business model?
That's a good one.
Who
Yeah,
wants to
I
go
have
first?
definitely some thoughts on that. I think that step one is to not over design your brand. And I think as an interior designer, it can be exciting and fun to pick out all kinds of patterns and colors and want that to live in your brand itself. And what I would encourage you to do is let those patterns and colors and texture live in your physical spaces you design, and let your brand complement them and take a step back. This is for a few reasons. A user interface online, whether it's on your desktop or on your mobile device, is going to lend itself more favorably to a simple, clean interface. That is what we as a society has grown to understand how to use more clearly. And as a user, they will be able to get to the information they need more quickly, more clearly, and more cohesively. So step one would be to really look at your brand and kind of strip a few things off. Just like your grandma used to say, whatever you're walking out with in the day, take one thing off of your outfit and just go a little more simple. And I think that's true with your brand as well. I think that carries over to your social media as well, as you're creating different story graphics or graphics to go up on Pinterest, or if you wanted to do a graphic in your feed itself, something that uses your brand colors, a beautiful clean font, and really committing to that simple palette actually says a lot more than trying to throw too many, clip arts, graphics on it, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I would say my recommendation would be for how to think about kind of your website and social media and growing your business is to, kind of remember what your website is and what your social media account is. For me, I always like to tell people my website is my sales manager. Okay, my website is the person I'm out there designing. My website is selling me. So the way that I structure my website, the words I use on my website, the images, the way I do a questionnaire or a lead magnet, I'm always thinking that this is someone reading this or interacting with this at 2 a.m. I'm not there to answer or fill in any blanks. So it's got to do a good job of giving them an overall view of what they could get and why I'm their person. For social media, I do believe in being consistent. Because I think people value consistency, especially when we think about platforms like Instagram. And for some reason, that's where people kind of see if you have street cred because they're looking at your stats for right now. And so for me with social media, especially Instagram, I've always wanted to just be consistent. And really, I don't even care about the likes on a specific image or the comments on a specific image. I'm not driving myself to say, I want, to have 500 likes or 1,000 likes or 10,000 likes per image. I just wanted to speak to my people. And then I want someone to see that image whenever it might show up, the 1%, like you said, who might see it. And I want them to be intrigued enough to say, who is this? Like, let me read her caption. Okay, she seems, okay, I kind of like her. But I know I want them to go to my profile. And I want my profile to be a mini snapshot of who they get, whether it's portfolio work, whether it's some videos, like they get kind of a good idea of who I am. And if I can keep that as my focus, it takes the pressure off of me showing up on social media like I see everyone else. Like everyone else who makes it look so effortless and they've got all the beautiful branded photos and they've got the, like I can't do what everyone else can. I can do what I can really well. And so for me, consistency and knowing that each of those is just a sales tool to intrigue someone to want to come in and learn more, to intrigue someone to want to book that inquiry call, to intrigue someone to maybe even skip over the book inquiry call and book a session, which is crazy to me, waking up and having someone having booked a session, never talking to me. A lot of that is because I've been so consistent with my message. So that would be my recommendation for you on how to use that to build your business.
I saw another question in there. Annie, I was trying to read it and listen at the same time.
Sorry.
I got it. We have a question from D. Nichols. How do I create a website if I'm new to the field? What do I write for my site and what pictures do I use if I don't have a lot of pictures myself?
That's an awesome question. So part of our brand platform has been creating user-friendly tools for interior designers, whether that is based on branding, investment guides you send out, or website templates. So we love the Wix platform. It is super user-friendly. You never have to use a coder or a developer. We have limited release, special edition templates. So we only ever sell 10 of a specific design, and we release a new design every month. So that is one option if you wanted to make an investment towards it. Wix does have some great free templates that will take a little more legwork on the front end. They aren't necessarily created specifically for interior designers. And Squarespace is another fan favorite if someone wants a simple, clean user interface. Squarespace is a little clunkier in my opinion, and there's a bit of a learning curve there, but it's beautiful and you can get a great end product. We specifically have some templates that we intentionally designed thinking of people who don't necessarily have a massive portfolio already. And I think that this is where video could come in really, really strong, as well as great website copy, not coffee. I need
that too.
And so on your website copy, if you can walk someone through your interior design process and really let them know what the experience is going to be like, you honestly only need one good project under your belt. Even if you don't have that, you can fake it with great vignettes around your own home, rearranging furniture, getting those great snapshots. And then this is where your storytelling is going to come in so handy, because you'll be able to explain the physical spaces you create and not rely so heavily on a portfolio that you don't have yet.
Yeah, I love that tip. Definitely agree with using the words to describe your value, really taking them through the transformation using copy. So talking about what they feel right now and their pain point, and then what you do with how you're the bridge to get them to, you know, the pleasure after the pain. And then I totally agree with, especially, you know, y'all, this is a very powerful tool. It's in our pocket. You can use that, pop it up, do a video real quick. People are wanting to invest in your knowledge, but they also want to feel like they can trust you. And the best way that they can trust you is to get to know your personality. And if you're never in front of the camera, or it's always just pictures of beautiful spaces, it feels very impersonal. So, you know, you can actually see that as a disadvantage, or you can flip that on its head and say, my advantage is I don't have to be tied to all these portfolio pictures that I spent a lot of money on. I want to make really easy, on brand, you know, videos using my camera, and I'm going to let that help me build the value so that I can build my client base and eventually my portfolio.
Nice. Annie, any more questions?
This is a specific question, but Teresa, hello, wants to know what program you ladies use to schedule your Pinterest content.
Planoly.
I use Tailwind.
I do too. I use Tailwind.
Yeah. Tailwind has some other upgraded features. So not just scheduling, which they make super easy with a, what do you call it in the Chrome bar?
The Chrome extension.
Yeah, that. So it's a Chrome extension that makes it super easy. They actually know the best times to schedule. They save some of your favorite captions and hashtags if you want to use cross platforms like Instagram. And then they have this other feature called Tribes, which helps you get your content out. It leverages groups who want to share content and promote content as well. So Tailwind is a good resource. Planoly is good too. Those are two good.
I think I'll be switching.
You don't have to. Planoly is good too. It just depends on what you want, what your goal is. Like, what do you want to use it for? So
I feel like Planoly is like a good entry level tool that you can like really wrap your head around. And Tailwind is like, we use it as an agency. So it's a little more comprehensive. In some ways it could be a little more finicky at times. But in our Pinterest for Interior Designers course that we just launched this weekend, we go through the whole process of scheduling out and using the loops in Tailwind, which is awesome. You can pin once and it'll automatically repin for you every 30 days. So we talk about that more extensively, but if you're just looking to get your feet wet, I think that Planoly is a great option.
great, agreed.
Y'all better go to Tailwind.
We do not get a cut.
Let's say.
Wait, this is not a sponsored post. We do not get a cut. By the way.
This is true.
Tailwind, hit us up if you would like to.
Yes.
Yes, and then we can talk about that. Any other questions, Annie?
Yes, Holly Joe wants to know what is the magic mix slash percentage of pictures, video, and wording for a Pinterest board?
Ooh, I don't know that. I don't know if there's a magic mix. Do you?
I think that Pinterest always wants you to be using any sort of pin descriptions as full and complete sentences. The age of using just keywords has kind of died off, and now Google and Pinterest are rewarding content that uses full and complete sentences. Honestly, one sentence is often what you need, and I would just like to make sure that you have two good keywords that describe what's in that image, or as Ariane had said, how someone is searching that. So just the way when you go to Google or you go to Pinterest and you're like white living room with black frame windows, that's more of a complete sentence than just living room plus white plus black. So you want it to be a little bit more fluid and organic. Pinterest really loves physical images. So I would probably steer on the side of 90% of your Pinterest content would be actual still images, and then 10% can be great video content. I think it's still a primarily still image platform.
Yeah.
Let's take one more question before we wrap this up.
Do you find that House is useful, and is it worth it to pay for a pro page?
Oh, Anastasia has a face.
I think we all did.
Ariane is very like.
I have heard different experiences from different people. I think that there's definitely a certain type of designer, particularly ones that work on hard surface remodels specifically, have had a good experience with House. They connect with builders a lot that way, and that has been beneficial to them. For more full service designers who are doing either new construction all the way to the final furnishing and styling, House hasn't been their primary avenue of getting new work. So I think it depends on your goals. I also am always concerned about letting any platform own my brand, and House does. And so we would never do that, but it can be a good tool for someone who's just getting started and needs to make connections with other people in the industry. Sorry, House.
Yeah, no, I think I would agree. I think it's a mixed bag. I think you've got to go in knowing your goal, and then you have to truly assess that resource to see if it helps you meet your goal, and you have to have blinders on. If you say, my goal is this, and House is actually a really great tool for this because of these features, and whatever fee it is fits in my budget, you have to commit, because I'm telling you, for every one person who says they love it, you'll find another person who hates it. And so you can't be in the middle. You can't be like waffling on it. You have to say, it meets my goals and I'm going to use it, knowing what my goals are and keeping that in the focus. And I think that's probably a healthier way to really, assess any tool. So Tailwind versus Planoly, House versus any other resource. It's really thinking about your business, the long game, and whether this resource is going to help you get to that goal faster, more efficiently, on track, all that stuff.
So before we go, says my internet connection is unstable, whatever. Tell the people where they can find you. We'll start with you, Ariane. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on my website, arianebellazar.com. I know you might misspell it, but I think if you Google, it'll get you close enough. arianebellazar.com. When you go to my website, you will see how to interact with me business-wise. You will see all of my social media links, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all of the above. If you want information on my course, I have a course called Video Like a Pro, so you can go to videolikeaprocourse.com, and we've got a discount code for you too if you want to go ahead and learn more about the deep dive into video. I promise I make it fun, but those are the places to find me.
She does. And my love, Anastasia, where can we find you?
You guys can really find me in two places. We have our actual studio, which is at idcode.studio, and that's where you'll find our courses, our templates, our investment guides, our websites, as well as our custom and bespoke work. So that's where kind of the work side of our life lives. And then you guys probably know me as the Identity Collective, which is our lifestyle blog for interior designers that has a ton of free content that covers anything from home tours to actual business tips and marketing plans. So that's where we live.
Well, thank you both, ladies. This has been really my pleasure, and I'm so excited that the world got to see your greatness because you both are absolutely amazing. So thank you for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye, partners.